Hey everyone, Jack's here. Welcome to the Shadow Nation on Paranormal World, Underworld.com, actually on YouTube.com. Tonight we're going to be discussing and reviewing the Demon House. There's an echo. Where's there an echo coming from?
That's me. I just started it. Sorry, Jax.
No problem. Yeah, Zak Bagans' Demon House. It came out around the 17th of March. Some people have already saw it. Hey, Cyrus, how you doing, brother? But I'm going good. Yeah. Let me introduce you to my panel for tonight. We got Cuvid, Mike, Jason, Forerunner, and Cyrus. So the Demon House. You guys all seen it, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
I have not.
Oh, you haven't?
But it's on Netflix, right?
It might be.
Oh, no, that one was on YouTube. I saw you guys passing the link around.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a bad toothache. That's why he hasn't been on lately, the last couple lives. Gyro. What's up, Sean? Yeah, so what do you guys think of what's your opinion on it? Anyone can jump in.
I thought it was actually pretty, genuine on some parts, but it was a pretty interesting video to watch.
I thought it was highly interesting. The reason I find it highly interesting is because you had so many professional people there, like police officers, social welfare for kids welfare officers, child psychologists, and stuff like that, like hospital workers. And they basically all said the same thing, that these kids were doing like crazy stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, like walking up walls backwards. And I found it fairly compelling. Now I haven't researched it, but I guess I can take that one at kind of face value, because there'd be enough people already slating it if it wasn't genuine.
Yeah, I thought that I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So I found it very interesting.
If what we were being told was true, then it's absolute proof that there is something. If what we were being told was true. And I did like the fact that Zak, at the beginning of it, puts over a couple of different points of view, because there were the squatters, if you like. Some of them were saying, no, never seen anything. Been here for ages, never seen anything. But there'd been that many reports out before from the family that had been living there. Plus, as you say, Jason, a lot of the police officers, some of them said they wouldn't go back into the house again.
Yes.
Now, these are supposed to be professionals. I would expect a copper to be prepared to go into any house, and I would think they would. So what the hell freaked them out so much?
Actually, there's a correction there, Keo. Not only did they not go back into the house, they actually left their job and moved away.
Yes.
Oh,
So
right.
that tells that either conflicted seriously with their worldview or their religious beliefs, one or the other.
Or maybe just life took them that way.
Well, for 3 or 4 cops to leave a small town like that, like Gary, Indiana, is not a big town. That's from where Michael Jackson was born and raised. It's not a big town. So, and yes, it could have been that kind of thing, but you'd need to do a bit more research for that. But just taking it on face value, I think even that part of it is a bit on the compelling side for 2 or 3 cops to say, not only am I not going back in this house, I'm not going back near this job. That way I'll never be confronted with anything like that again, and just basically leave the area and move out of the area. So they didn't only like leave their jobs, they moved away from the town as well.
Yeah, you're talking about the CPS worker, last name Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she.
the other black cop, the sheriff, he said that a couple of cops from his department left town and left their posts and retired and moved away.
Correct. Here's the thing. You know, the way that it was done, and the only reason why I believe this, that what we were shown is true, is because of the fact that all those professional people did see the child walk backwards up the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, to do something like, and the thing is that, you know, even though it is still considered, regardless who did it, it's still considered Hollywood, I believe. Okay, and the thing is that you can't always believe what people show you on YouTube or whatever. It's still, you know, even on TV, you know, it's especially on TV. Well, YouTube is the same way, but YouTube isn't Hollywood. I don't think.
Yeah.
Some of the videos, the hoaxes that some people put out, it's ridiculous. It's getting super ridiculous. So who knows? The technology is getting better and better. So who knows? Some people could afford semi-Hollywood technology to produce hoaxes, CGI, whatever, whether it be UFOs, ghosts, or whatever.
Yeah.
Thing is that now when Zak Bagans is doing his Ghost Adventures show, okay, he's always said right from the beginning that the three of us, this is when there was actually 3 people, the 3 of us with no big cameras, crews following us around, go to these haunted places, blah, blah, blah. Truth of the matter is there's 120 people on location at every given point. Okay, and the thing is that, especially with producers, they tell you exactly, you know, what to say, what to wear. They basically, you have to listen to them. That being said, I think that whatever was happening there at this house, I think was actually conjured up by someone doing a satanic ritual that was under the stairs. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff that they ended up finding. They went down, and what's mind-boggling is that why on earth, just under the stairs, was there no concrete poured?
Yeah.
Everywhere else in that basement, there was concrete there.
Yeah.
And when the cops went down there and started digging underneath those cellar stairs, they're pulling out fingernails, they're pulling out girls' panties, they're pulling out, you know, tin can lid. Am I missing something? I think there's one other thing that they pulled out.
Oh, I think there was some hair or something they found, right? Hair string.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, hair or string or something like that. But the thing is that whatever that they were summoned, who was it? Was it the Ammons family? That they were, did that stuff belong to them, or did that stuff belong to the other people that were before them?
Well,
I don't think they actually figured out who it was belonged to.
no, I don't. I don't think they ever actually like nailed it down who it was belonged to. I think they were saying the people before this family, the family that were actually exposed to it. I think it was the people before that. And another thing about the place being concrete underneath it, no concrete underneath the stairs. That is where you would put concrete because that's where you want to have a water barrier against wooden stairs as well.
Yeah.
There's no point in having like concrete all over the place and then not having concrete where you need it the most, because then any water that's in the ground table would seep into the wood and then rot the bottom of your stairs. So that would be, if anything, it would be the other way around. You'd have concrete at the bottom of the stairs and under the stairs, and say going out say 4 feet around it, so no water seeps into the wooden stairs. Because that's all they were, was basically like 6 foot by 6 inch by 2 inch beams. So that would absorb the moisture. So you would definitely have, in normal building practices, you would definitely have concrete there. But I don't see any reason not to have concrete there. Even if the stairs were there when it was redone, if it was re-concreted afterwards, you would always make sure you dug down underneath the stairs and made sure you got concrete in there. You know, it's just, that's standard building practice. It's not rocket science to do that. Fairly easy. Otherwise, you're going to be replacing staircases every couple of years, depending on what part of the country it is, how warm or how wet it is. But your stairs are just kind of rot out every time.
You know, and it's a lot of that stuff that was shown in there kind of led me to believe that there was actually something there, considering that how many people during that investigation that people actually got sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like some weird voodoo practice or something, man. Definitely, like that was throwing up red flags left and right after all those things that they found.
You know, and it's one guy, one gentleman came down with cancer. The second CPS worker, she ended up burning herself and breaking her ribs and breaking her ankles and you know, all this other stuff. You know, and then you got Dr. Barry Taff, who ended up going into the hospital after walking around the house like he was absolutely confused.
Oh yeah, it was like something almost that looked like possessed him, I thought. As well as the camera guy that was following him.
Yes. Yes. And the thing is that it's after all of this stuff, I mean, Dr. Barry Taff, and just to give everyone a little clue, he does investigate paranormal phenomenon. He's had 45 cases under his belt, and he can count on one hand how many inhuman entities he's encountered.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. Okay, so they are very far in between. My point is that between him, who was the guy that came down with cancer? I forget. What was his job? Does anyone remember?
Oh, was he an inspector?
Yes, the house inspector. Right. Okay, he was the house inspector. He came down with cancer. Then you had the cameraman, Adam, who started flipping out in the hotel after the whole case was, well, just about said and done. You know, and he was actually touched in the hotel room on his right hand. And at that point, he looked at Zak and he told Zak, as he's looking right at Zak, "You're a BTICH."
And then yeah.
He called him a bitch. Called Zak a bitch. And then he re-looked at him again after he said, do it again. And then looked at him again and said, "I'm going to find you." Now, supposedly what was being encountered there Zach actually got a text message from Chris Fleming. Chris Fleming is a sensitive, a medium, an empath, whatever you want to call him. That text message that was in that movie was telling him to be careful of, because there's a 12-foot goat man that's the head demon there.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that a few days before he even went there, even before he bought the house, it was like a couple weeks before, Zach had a dream that he heard a noise. He opened up the door, and there was a 12-foot goat man standing there. And he actually grabbed Zach somehow and emanating black smoke into Zach's mouth.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, was this kind of like a premonition not to do this? I mean,
Yeah, he said when he woke up, Zach said when he woke up after the dream that his lungs were burning after the so-called demon, 12-foot goat man demon thing had blown black smoke into his mouth. That when he inhaled it, when he actually woke up, he said his whole chest was burning. So that kind of, as you said, that's before he knew anything about anything in this house, like being reported. So that gives more credence as well. Yes, I'd reckon it was kind of a premonition of sorts, kind of to stay away, but yet he chose not to.
I like the idea. I like the idea. Like as soon as he found out about the demon, that was somebody had spoke to him about it in this house. As soon as they mentioned it, he took out of his pocket $37,000 and bought this house.
Oh, you got the message after he bought it. You got the message was when your man found out he had purchased the house. The guy sent him a text message saying, "There's a non-human entity there." I think he said it was an 8 out of 10 on the badness scale, and basically to watch yourself, and his advice is be very careful, kind of thing. And I gotta give the guy credit. If it was me, apart from the money, I don't think I think as soon as I seen something that was full on in your face, I think I would be saying, right, that's enough for me and leaving. That's just my opinion. Especially in that situation, where you have, if it's having that impact on Brew, that kind of thing. And I understand, Jax, when you were saying there's 120 people there, and usually, yes, shows like that are usually, they add in dramatic effect and that kind of thing into it. I don't think this case needed any dramatic effect put into it. It basically just needed the facts structured in a way for people to absorb them, and that's all. They didn't need to go overboard and make it oh, some guy, we just say some guy's got a stomach bug, and then they're telling them. In usual kind of shows like that, they're saying, we just say one of the cameraman got sick, and it goes from being he had a stomach bug in real life, and they're telling you, oh yeah, he was in the hospital close to death for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Whereas in this one, it seems they did the exact opposite. They went to the people, they went to the witnesses. Apart from the family that were there, I can understand I think they actually have signed up to do a movie deal, and that's why they couldn't speak about it. They didn't want to speak about it. But I found it highly strange that the guy that did talk to Zach and the other guy, that they wouldn't let him back in the house because Zach had been in the house and then had shook hands with him. So that goes to show you the level of fear that's in them, in the people that had lived and experienced it. That stands that stands out for me as like they're not like basically hamming it up, or they've seen something and they are blown out of proportion for Hollywood or anything like that trying to get a book deal. It kind of like it basically scared the crap out of them. That would be my take on it. You know?
Yes. And what's even more interesting is too that the family that was there right before the Ammons family had moved in, that family, and I can't remember that family's name, but they ended up pulling up to the house as Zach was there with the crew, and they asked to go into the house, and the mother was walking around the basement acting like she was all confused, and there was a scene where one of her legs buckled, and she turned around and told her son, "Don't kick me." And he's like, I didn't kick you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nobody near her when that happened.
No, not at all.
Well, there were people near her, but there was nobody that would have been able to knock her leg in any way. The closest person to her was in front of her.
Right. And it was all caught on film too, so
yeah.
You know, and what's weird is because right after that the daughter ended up, which when I was seeing it, I thought it was the son that was gonna be, because he was acting all strange after he left the house, like, you know, I want to stay here. That was the way he was acting, the way he just stood there beside the car staring at the house. But it's and even Zach said, "What's wrong with this kid? There's something going on with this kid." But it wasn't actually him. And at that point, I thought it was going to be the son, but it was actually the daughter that actually tried to commit suicide less than 2 weeks later.
Like,
and they ended up going to see a priest and to get an exorcism done. And it seemed to snap her out of it. Whatever was in her, trying to get her to commit suicide, just like disappeared, and you could see like her whole body like relax and just limp.
Yeah, I'd agree. As I said, I will say one thing. Like, if anybody out there in the UFO field or anybody's making programs with paranormal in Hollywood, they would do well to sit down and watch the way they have structured Demon House. Not only, like, as I said, they haven't like hammed it up or put in dramatic effect or anything. Just stick to the basic facts and let people make up their own mind at the end, instead of like when you're sitting at the end of the film. Did they do that for Hollywood kind of stuff, or did they do it like, did it really happen? Like, we need basically, the paranormal community needs more of that kind of stuff. Here's the evidence we found. Kind of, you make up your own mind kind of thing. I think it sets a good precedence kind of thing for me, because that Demon House was one of probably, I can probably count on maybe one hand how many good things that just presented you with the facts and said, look, this is what I experienced, this is what these people said happened, and this is what we know happened. You know?
Correct.
And that was it. They just presented it and let you make up your own mind. They're not trying to force an idea on anybody. It's kind of, it's kind of like if you're the jury member, you're hearing the evidence, and then you make up your own mind, guilty or not guilty kind of thing. That was the way it was done, and that sets good precedence for the future of any paranormal, be it UFOs, ghosts, you name it. Like, that was a good format to follow.
I mean, you could tell that it was done for television, you know, with the whole, you know, the ghost head and, you know, all the flash scenes to full space and stuff like that. But the way they put it over was really fair and quite valid and extremely interesting. I mean, we have other shows that go out. There's loads of paranormal shows that go out, and they're sometimes really damaging to the subject. I mean, Most Haunted, which is a big one in England,
Yeah.
I think it's now over in the US and that. What a load of crap. They need to take a leaf out of Zach's book on this particular one. I'm not saying all the stuff, because some of them,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Some of the
that
area.
particular one was extremely well done. And some of the footage as well, particularly when we got to the end, which we haven't even spoken about yet,
Exactly.
was extremely impressive later on. But yeah, they did a good job of it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, it's yeah, we're actually getting up. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit, getting closer to the end of that. Excuse me. See that. I mean, I would think as an investigator, especially if I had a bunch of people that I knew that actually got hurt or got sick or whatever at a certain location, I don't think that I would actually stay there.
Or you could ask the crew themselves who wants to come in and who doesn't want to. You could give them free choice. If they want to, that's fine. If they don't want to, that's fine too.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That's probably what he should have done. But I mean, it's okay. Let's put it this way. I'm gonna get right into it. Like, okay, you're gonna board up the house like he did.
Yeah.
Yes. Sean said. Aaron said, "Screw that. I'm not going there." Probably, and that's probably the same reason why Nick Groff ended up quitting the other show, is because he was still around when Zach bought the house, and they probably
Didn't they demolish it?
I'm sorry?
Didn't they rip that house down now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But the thing is that they might have gotten to a fight, and that's why Nick quit. And that's why Nick's off doing his own thing. But it's kind of weird because I don't know. I would. Oh, that could be too. Nick said that. I mean, Sean said that Zach accused Nick of using him. That's possible. But there's different reports. The latest report that I've been hearing is that he didn't get fired. He quit. So could that have been a possibility that that's the reason why right after he bought the house that who knows? None of us were there. We're just going by hearsay. And the thing
I heard one saying that because he had 3 daughters, 3 little girls, that he didn't want to be a part of that investigation because he didn't want anything bad to happen. If there was anything to attach to him, he didn't want to take it back to his family. So,
yeah,
whether that's true or not, or
yeah.
Well, that to me speaks even more to the credence of it, because, like, if it was the case that they were hamming it up for putting in dramatic effect for it, they would know which parts are dramatic effect. So for someone to quit a show and say, "I'm not bringing this back to my family," that means what they were experiencing was full on real, 100%.
And they felt uneasy with it, whatever it was.
They felt in danger, basically, or yeah, like, which is scary.
Yeah. I mean, when you would, I mean, towards the end, You know, it's. I mean, I think overall it was done pretty well. You know, but there's certain things there that you just kind of like scratch your head and like, really? And like I said, none of us were there, so we don't actually know. I mean, it appears to be everything is all on the level, especially with all the DVR footage that they were using. And especially with that cameraman looking at his hands like he's never seen them before. I don't know if anyone picked that up. But that was right before he was standing in the doorway looking at his hands like this. And that was before he snuck down to the basement by himself.
I didn't actually notice that.
No, I didn't notice that either.
He went down to the cellar on his own.
Oh, I noticed that part. I didn't notice the part of his hands.
Yeah, and the thing is that that's he was whatever was controlling him or possessed by or whatever made him go down to the basement and then started freaking out at the hotel room afterwards.
Wasn't he yelling at something in like the elevator or something too? Like something was standing there trying to pull him in or something like that? Like he was yelling at him saying stop, like go away.
No, that was Zach. That was towards the end. But yes, there was something there. He opened up the elevator door because why he was just going into the elevator by himself and not pushing any buttons to make the elevator go up or down. That's beyond me. I have no idea what the guy was thinking. I don't know. I wasn't there. But
yeah, because I saw like he was yelling at something in like it looked like the elevator. Like, what is he doing down there?
Well, that was
yelling like at like empty space.
Well, when the doors to the elevator actually opened, he said that what was standing there was the 12-foot goat man.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And then afterwards, when he was in the room, he was flipping out, and that's when Zach, standing by the elevator, was holding up, telling the guys stop filming. So they were all filming on the phones and their cameras and whatnot. And Zach went down to the room, and Adam, the cameraman, was talking to somebody, and someone was talking back. But Adam was the only one in the room. And all of this is caught on audio.
Yeah.
Jesus, I missed that too.
So I guess he ended up calling security to try to get this other person out of the room because, he doesn't belong there. But there's nobody there.
Yeah, but to their surprise.
So he started running towards the door. He opened up the door and made Zach turn around and run down the hallway. And Adam came out and he's like, I want to go back to the house, man. That's it. And Zach kept asking him, what's wrong? What's wrong? And the guy said, you know what? It's a bitch. Whatever is here is a bitch. Come on, do something else. And he was just off the wall. And no one's ever seen him act like that before. Even Billy said that he's known him for years. They asked him point blank, how long have you known him? For years? Have you ever seen him act like that? No.
Yeah, there could be like I understand like for people to act like not normal, but there can be other things outside it. But the problem with that is like if you have like high EMF fields or low frequency EMF fields, they can affect the brain of people. But the only thing is they're not all going to experience the same thing. So that would kind of rule that one out straight away. So if there was something like in that house that was, we'd just say, an environmental anomaly like EMF fields or that kind of thing, you'd be talking about they wouldn't all experience the exact same thing, you know. So
Yeah.
that rules that one out straight away. So like to me, that says like there's something environmental that's having the same effect on anything it chooses to, basically.
Yeah, Jax, wasn't that the whole reason why that doctor came to check to rule out all those anomalies?
Correct. I mean, well, first of all, I just want to let everybody know that I made a mistake, and it was Jay that knew Adam, not Billy. I want to thank Sean for setting that straight. Yes. What's also interesting is that he was experiencing. Dr. Barry Tapp was experiencing stuff like coming out of the walls, and it was making the EMF meter spike. And then
but that was when Zak was getting near it, wasn't it?
This was before.
Like him for some reason. Oh,
this was right before.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then right afterwards, you could see Zak starting to get aggravated, and he even states, "I'm getting really aggravated," and no reason to be getting aggravated.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the EMF starts emanating from Zak. And then he lunges towards the doctor like he was going to attack him. And then he said that he had fought with all his might not to attack the doctor. But
yeah, because at that moment, that's when the doctor said, he's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "What was that?" It was the thing picked up on that spike, and then he's like, "What just happened?" He's like, "Did you do something?" And Zak's like, "Yeah, I just lunged at you. Like I almost attacked you." He's like, "Oh, do that again."
Right.
And I guess it did it again, but it wasn't as strong.
But it's. I mean, the number one rule that I've always said is never go on location by yourself. And what's really interesting is not only they boarded up the whole house, the only thing that was left, they boarded up all the doors, all the windows, except the front door. Zak had made plans to go into the house by himself because whatever everybody else had been experiencing, he wanted to experience it himself. Now, the reason why investigators don't go on location by themselves is if you get hurt, who's going to pick up the phone and call 911? Especially, and what's even worse is you're going to go into a location by yourself and board up all the windows and all the doors so you can't get out. So if there's ever an emergency, God forbid, you have a phone, but you don't pick up the phone to call anybody, even though your crew is sitting right outside, maybe 150 feet away. That's mistake number one. After Zak had gone into the house, they boarded out the front door. And he told, who was that? Was that Jay or was that Billy? I think that was Jay that he was texting on the phone. And he said that I do not want to shut the light off. And they responded by saying, I don't blame you. I wouldn't shut it off either. But yet he ended up shutting it off and he went dark. And after it went dark, he was sitting on the bed in the back room. And he heard what sounded like, to me, it did sound like footsteps, but it also sounded like steps from a hooved animal. No, I'm not trying to say anything that this is actually what happened, that there was a 12-foot goat man, whatever, whatever, but it did sound like it was hooves on a wooden floor to me, which is really, really bizarre.
Yeah, I'd agree. It either sounded like that, or with something with like heavy heel on it, kind of thing, like a cowboy boot kind of thing, like something with a decent, when it hits it, it makes like a thud noise on it. I will agree there. The footsteps were fairly freaky. I'd agree with you there.
You know, and it just didn't sound like a regular, like a human wearing a cowboy boot or something like that. That's not what it sounded like. It actually really, it was like a clunk, like Sean's saying, a heavy clunk. But after he saw that, I mean, he heard the footsteps. He ended up starting to freak out and started talking to whatever that was coming towards him. Now, you couldn't see anything, but the thing is that he ended up seeing something coming towards him, I believe. And what it was, I have no idea. Maybe it was the 12-foot goat man or whatever it was. You know, he started saying, "Get away from me." And then he started saying it more, you know, forcefully, "Get the hell away from me. Go away." And then you hear this noise that I can't explain it any more than it sounded like it kind of crossed between a cat and a pig. It was the only way. It was like meow. Something around that something very similar to that. And he jumped and started backpedaling up to the wall. And then all of a sudden, his camera that he had put down on the bed was in the blanket was in the view of the camera. So the camera actually didn't stay in focus because it was now focused on the fibers of the blanket.
Yeah.
And then from right to left, you see this huge dark shadow go right to left.
That was the best part of the whole thing. But like Sean said in the comments before, that was also the worst part of the thing. Because if that sheet hadn't have been in front of it, that could have been absolute frigging proof, because the rest of the house was cameras up to hell. And I've got to admit, something I really liked was their camera placement. All the cameras were high up in the top of rooms and also covering the entrances. The camera placement in that was quite impeccable, I thought.
Yes.
But that shot, that was the best part of that thing, was also the most disappointing part.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but then again, that also lends credence to like how scared he was jumping back, because your automatic reaction is kind of put your back to a wall or a corner, so you have full peripheral vision of what's coming at you. So I can't blame the guy for not saying, okay, I'll place the camera here just in case, because fear is going to take over. You're going to think, get my ass back against the wall, that way I see anything coming towards me. But the best probably thing he should have done was probably kept the camera in his hand, but I don't think he was even thinking. I just think fear and instinct took over. Get your ass back to the wall kind of thing. and that lends more to the amount of fear that he was going through. So I don't, as I said, I've said it a couple of times, I don't think that's Hollywooding it up or a dramatic effect or anything like that. I think that's just pure fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Sean was, me and Sean were discussing just the other night that clearly wasn't, to make that camera go out of focus, that wasn't Zak's fault. He was scared to death.
Yeah, Sean said he threw the camera.
Yeah, he looked like he crapped himself, let's say.
Yep.
I've got to admit, with all the things I've seen, if I'd have been there then, if I'd have been him, I'd have been getting my butt straight out of that place. I really would.
I can agree with you there, Keo. I would agree 100%.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that whatever it is that he saw.
Back on, Mike.
Whatever it is that he saw, well, let's put it this way: right after that, he started getting pains in his eyeballs, and the very next day, I mean, you could see him standing there in front of the camera, going, "My eyes! Oh my God, my eyes!" The very next day, his eyes started going cross-eyed. He ended up going to the hospital, and it was discovered that he has an eye condition called diplopia. And that causes to see double vision. Corrective surgery will not help. There's a huge chance that he'd be blind for the rest of his life. So he has to wear prism glasses for the rest of his life now because of this condition.
Yeah.
Now, could that have contributed, like everything else, with everyone else getting sick or hurt or whatever the case may be? Mental conditions like that, like Dr. Barry Tapp, when he went in the hospital, all his organs started shutting down. Not all at once. It was just like boom, 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 boom. Everything. And he's still having health problems today. Could that be just mere coincidence? Or do y'all think that maybe it's because of he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see, and whatever that was that he did saw caused his eyes to come down with this condition?
I think that it could have a good possibility of that. Whatever that anomaly was that affected him.
Well, number one,
it wasn't him, you know. Sorry. Go, Jason.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, I'm done.
What I was about to say is, no matter what happened to Zak's eyes, that's not going to have an effect on any of the other crew there. That's going to be like an individual thing to him. And also, if he's seen something that, like, he wasn't supposed to see, basically, or whatever he's seen made that happen to his eyes, well, that would say, like, it's kind of punishment for seeing something you shouldn't have, kind of thing. That's the only sense I could make of something like that. Like, yes, he's seen something. He obviously seen it up close because, as you said, it was a shadow that went right. It was in the same room as him. Yeah, it was what, 10, 12, maybe 14 feet away. Max. The max standard size of a room was 14 feet by 12. So he obviously got a good look at whatever it was. He didn't go into detail, but it's another thing. Like, or I don't know. It all seems to add up to me. Like, it's not any one piece of evidence. It's everything put together adds up to, like, apart from like the amount of witnesses. all of the phenomenon they experienced in the house. And I have to agree, I would not be setting foot in a house that was boarded up. That's for sure. Like I would want cameras in every corner of every room. You know, I'd want them in three corners, and then I'm standing in the fourth corner with you back to the wall, and with a camera in my hand. That way, anything I see, and then I want someone with a battering ram outside the door to ready to smash that thing in as ready. I'm saying, right, I've got out of here. That's it. Like there's no point in being famous for being the guy that done the demon house if you're a dead demon house guy. The guy is as Jack said, the guy is already gonna have to wear prism glasses for the rest of his life. And I even seen the part where he was saying they brought him in and ran tests in three different facilities for a type of brain tumor or aneurysm or something like that because crossed eyes was one of the symptoms of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent him to a couple of different hospitals to get it checked out, but thankfully, and you can even hear like the relief in his voice. Thank God it wasn't anything like that. But the guy still got to wear prism glasses for the rest of his life. You know, so it's kind of it's compelling to say the least. Very compelling.
Yeah. Yeah. Q, what do you think?
Summing the whole thing up, I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was one of the better shows that I've seen. I thought that last bit of footage where, although it was blurry, you see the shadow go across in a dark room, but it's still a shadow in comparison to the dark room through a doorway where there's no shadow going along this side of the wall. So whatever the shadow was solely inside that.
Okay, did he jump? There you go.
It scared the shit out of me that little bit. Excuse the French. I would have been out of that place as quick as. I think that's one of the better ones that we've seen, and it's been a while since we've seen one quite so good without all the garbage that gets put out.
Yeah, it's Jara, what do you think? Overall?
Well, here's what happened to me with the show, the vid. It started freaking me out, so I had to go away from it. And then I found myself coming back to watch other parts. And so I still haven't watched the whole thing in complete yet. So, yeah, it's pretty freaky. Yeah, I don't know what the, you know.
So you get... I'm sorry?
It gave me the chills.
After the shadow part, that's pretty close to the end. You haven't got much more to go after that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But the ending of what actually happened is interesting in itself.
Yes. Yes.
And we haven't even spoken about that.
No, we're getting there.
I just want to get up the courage to watch the whole video yet.
Well, you're going to get a few spoilers. I mean, if you don't want to know, now's your opportunity to jump off.
Somebody boot
I think I'll rather let you spoil it for me.
Jaro.
Forerunner, what do you think overall so far?
I thought the movie, I liked it a lot. I mean, it just kind of had that classic ghost movie kind of feeling where like it just amped up more and more, but in like a good sense, not like a negative point. I thought that that figure.
That's weird.
I call it figure. I don't really call it a shadow. I thought that was the creepiest part. It gave me chills instantly. Near the end, the part with the mother and her 3 kids was pretty weird. I didn't really like that part where the girl had the exorcism in the church, because I thought that was really creepy. And I also felt that the part when she was talking to Zak before they had their exorcism, or her exorcism, I thought that she wasn't herself, because seeing how she talked before when they're in the house,
Yes.
she talked like she would a normal person, and when she was at the church, she was like hesitant, like she was trying to fumble her thoughts, what she was going to tell him tactically,
Right.
So I thought all that stuff was, it was a little odd on her end, but I figured, she must have been, if she was possessed by whoever that being is. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
Jax,
yes.
You didn't even talk about the audio recording when we were speaking the other day about that. The audio recording where they picked it up and we were both saying that it sounded like something.
Go ahead, talk about it. Bring it up.
It was what man, I don't remember what Zak Bagans was saying, what he thought it sounded like, but it was the one where they were downstairs, I believe, in the basement, and they picked it up when they're walking around, and I told you the other night when I was watching it, to me, I listened to it about, I want to say 8 times, like full audio up on my headphones. It almost sounded to me that it said, this is the being, not anybody else talking. It was completely silent in the background until they picked that up. It said, kneel unto me, or at my throne kneel unto me. That's what I could pick up out of the audio signal that they took from that. Did anybody else catch that or have any other ideas of what it said?
Nope.
No.
I didn't
hear anything quite like that, to be honest.
I did hear something come through, and I don't know exactly what was said, but there was something definitely there that they caught.
Yeah.
It did kind of sound, because now that I'm thinking of it, it did kind of sound like that's what it said, but it's listening to a recording over a TV camera. It could be a little misleading. You know what I mean? I would actually need to have the
original,
the video file to actually listen to it good with noise canceling headphones, so I can listen to it and actually figure out what it says.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, because one thing, like some words so close together, you're never gonna like it. Could sound like one phrase, and it will be a completely different phrase. And when stuff is recorded and then played back, and especially if you're listening to what's being compressed and then played back out again, so it could distort what's really there. You would really need the original audio file.
Yeah.
And as you said, use noise canceling headphones.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about when he was up in the kitchen area or around there, and he heard the EVP come across not the digital recorder, but the audio record, the audio on the TV camera?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because there was one caught upstairs, and I believe it was out near the kitchen, and he said that this voice, it was a woman that you could hear.
No, it wasn't a woman. It sounded like a distorted, low voice, like what you would think a conventional demon would sound like. That's the only way I can put it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because there was another one caught.
I did hear the one woman though. That one was.
Yeah, there's another one upstairs of a woman that came across and said, "That's my baby."
Yeah, I heard that. That was really creepy in my thoughts.
But here's the deal. After everyone's getting hurt and everyone's, coming down with these strange things to their body and, organs shutting down and diplopia with the eyes and people coming down with cancer and all this other stuff. Zak Bagans decided that that it was time for the house to go, and they tore the house down.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Jara.
Which wasn't that much of a spoiler.
But here's the real kicker. He said, being an investigator, after the whole house was gone, I heard that they put it into a container. But according to the film, and that actually came out of Zak Bagans' mouth during an interview on WWE's Chris Jericho podcast, Talk is Jericho. He actually had Zak Bagans on there for an interview. It's about an hour and a half. Check it out. I think it's still on YouTube.
He has some of the stuff from the house, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was all. This interview was all done on the demon house and what he experienced. And a lot of the stuff that he talks about during that interview was in the film. So it's keeping pace. His story hasn't wavered.
Yeah. But what do you reckon about holding on to artifacts from the house?
Yes.
Certain things.
Yes, he said that being a paranormal investigator and a collector, because he does have some type of haunted museum of artifacts or whatever, very similar to what in Connecticut.
Ripley's, believe it or not.
I'm sorry?
Is it Ripley's, like that Ripley house thing? The Ripley's, believe it or not, show, they have a big collection of stuff as well from.
Right. He ended up, he kept parts of the house. He actually kept the cellar stairs and that little section of dirt that was underneath the cellar stairs where all those stuff was found. He's got 5-gallon buckets full of that dirt.
Why?
Yes.
Why the frig would you do that? Why the frig?
I don't know.
I don't know. Investigate, see if it follows with it. Part of the.
I mean, I know you, Jack, say there's 3 things he shouldn't have done. You said one earlier on. He should never have gone in the house alone.
That's another one.
And number 2 is taking the soil.
Taking the soil, right?
Number 3.
I don't remember what number 3 was.
Number 3 was taking the objects.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you do that?
Yeah, you're right. And I was right, because now I remember I said that.
Yeah.
I would have grabbed that stuff up and incinerated it all there and then on site, or in a secret location. And
I'd have ran out of the house and got the fuck out of Dodge.
that would have been about 3 months before I burnt the house down. But I would have ran out screaming like a little girl first, and then built up the courage over 3 months. Back to that 55-gallon drum petrol and doused the house and burnt it to the ground. There would be no way you would catch me. I wouldn't keep a pebble out of the house, and that's being honest. After going through what they did, there would be no way. But as I said, like, I have no problem. I'm curious about all this stuff, and I don't have any problems going into any haunted location. But as soon as my eyes see something, I know, okay, Jay, that shit was real, and it's time for you to go now. You know it's real. Time to go. That's it. I definitely would not be holding anything whatsoever from that house, and I definitely wouldn't be keeping. I definitely wouldn't be keeping anything where I thought there was rituals associated with or anything like that, because that shit is just like, for me, it's just bad juju kind of thing. It's just, I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't tempt fate, basically.
Yeah, do you want to take the chance?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like you remember your man Steve McQueen's car that he died in. It was rebuilt, I think 6 or 7 times, and everybody that owned it either died in mysterious circumstances. I wouldn't buy that car if it was given to me. I wouldn't take it for free, and it's a Porsche worth 250,000 to $500,000. You could give me it all day long. I tell you, no, keep it. You're okay. I definitely wouldn't be driving it.
I'd take it, but I'd park it over at me mates and then sell it.
Yeah, but he ended up, he didn't even put it into the container like he said. Like I thought that originally it was done. He just buried it in a landfill. Now here's the thing: all these people getting hurt, and Dr. Barry Tapp still having health issues to this day. The cameraman Adam refuses to talk to Zach. Refuses to talk about the house. He actually has both his hands right in the same spot especially on his right hand, and they're both right on his right hand. He has tattooed 666 in a circle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He's lost his mind.
I think so, yeah.
He's completely lost his mind. I can't explain it, but I as far as keeping the cellar stairs and the dirt and those items that they found underneath the stairs, not me.
Not me neither.
Not me. Because he's been warned. I'm going to find you.
Oh, so that is giving a location. It's like a GPS location for any of that kind of stuff. You know, if it's kind of a residual thing that it's part of the land, you got to think, right? All of the other stuff is gone. I didn't know they threw it in the landfill. I thought they would have incinerated. Like most people would have incinerated it, because I would have definitely doused it in petrol and burned it. Everything that could be burnt, I would have burnt it. And as I said, I definitely wouldn't have been holding on to anything, because that would have been a GPS locator for anything bad to come back from. So I wouldn't tempt fate. Even if I thought that there was maybe a 0.5% to 10% chance, if 1/10%, there was no way I'd be keeping any of it. Bad news.
It's the thing is that now there's a question now. Why on earth would the whole basement be completely cemented except that one little section under the stairs? What is that? Who does that?
That would have to
be to grow mushrooms.
I mean,
that would have to be like customly tailored to whoever designed that, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Or it would have had to been like a addition to the building.
I don't know. It was just directly right underneath the stairs. It was nothing but dirt.
And it was one little square as well, kind of.
Here's another question, Jax. Do you think that there could have been anything buried underneath the concrete that they never found?
Do I think what?
Do you think that there could have been anything like human remains or anything buried underneath the concrete, and the only reason?
I don't know.
It was covered for that reason.
I said to Q the other day, I said, for all we know, how do we know that someone didn't cut out the concrete just underneath the stairs? How do we know that it wasn't concrete there already?
Yeah.
We don't know.
That's true. As I said, I've done building years ago. I've done groundworks, and the first place that you would have concrete, and you would have a thick slab of concrete with a damp-proof barrier, because you've got wood going on top of it to stop any moisture coming up. It would start rotting the bottom step of the stairs straight away.
Well, the stairs went down onto the concrete. The patch where it was just the soil was underneath. But Sean's saying in chat, it's not that strange. Well, yeah, kind of. I think it is. If you're gonna concrete your basement, you concrete your basement. You don't leave a little small area under the stairs, which weirdly seems to have items in it and shit like that. You know, why'd you do that? There's no reason for it unless you want to grow mushrooms. I can't think of another fucking reason you would leave a piece of
mushrooms or pot plants
ground in the dark. You know, it seems really weird to me. And
it does
like
to me
Jason
as well.
says, why is that the only bit like that? What's under the concrete? Because you never found out about that. When they took the house out, that's just debris on top of the foundation, probably.
Yeah. I feel that way as well.
But the whole thing to me was very strange.
I mean, did they ever say what year that house was built in? I don't think they did they?
No.
I thought I heard them say something about it being built in the like 30s or something. Could be wrong. I might be wrong on that.
Can someone look that up for me real quick?
I will check it out.
Yeah, it's to keep those objects from something that you know that could have been, and all evidence points that there was something non-human there, and to take pieces of it with you after you've already been warned that it's looking for you.
Well, you also have to think that, this thing might not be bound by any materialistic objects. So it could just be a free demon just running around amok, It might not even need anything to be bound to.
Yeah,
just because they ripped that house down don't mean it was attached to that house. It could be anywhere.
but here's what I'm thinking. If those items were under the stairs, under 4 feet of dirt, that was probably most likely a satanic ritual.
Yeah. And you have to think that they find just one pair of panties or underwear or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, just one? Because I was going to say if they found two or something. You think that maybe they sacrificed a pregnant woman?
They didn't say. I don't know. I don't
Newborn
know.
child.
I do know.
That's my baby, kind of, a woman saying that. Usually say that to like a small child or an infant or something.
That's a good point. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a very good point. I never connected those two together.
Makes you think a little bit more now.
Yeah.
No, but if it's Sean, dropping some panties under the stairs ain't anything. No, but it's when it's under 4 feet worth of soil. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, they're trying to cover something up there.
If it was just resting on top, okay, maybe they dropped it, going up the stairs because they're doing laundry and someone dropped it. But you got human fingernails, you got fake fingernails, you got woman's panties, you got, that tin lid from from whatever it was it was a lid that was made out of tin from some type of container. You know, all this stuff is buried 4 feet under the soil. So that's, and then after the whole house is gone, and Zach is still getting phone calls from the police department saying that the people showing up and doing satanic rituals right on the property.
Yeah, exactly.
So has this stuff been going on this whole time? Even when the house was there? Or is it just mere coincidence that these people are showing up afterwards?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, because it's not like the movie came out and then they're like, "Oh, well, let's go here do satanic rituals." You know, it's like shortly after it was destroyed, all these people started coming over and
The movie came out after the house was destroyed, so and there's nothing saying about the age of the house when it was built. But another thing that popped in mind, the movie came out in March this month, started this month, came out. Yeah. So if you have people turning up, you know, I know people at the time of filming and a lot of people would have known in the area. But my guess is there was probably crazy stuff going on in that house, like with devil worshippers and satanic rituals before that. Or maybe was it the entity inside the house was putting stuff from the people who lived there under the stairs? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
it could be.
There's only a slight couple of possibilities. Basically, there's only three. There's either people outside doing satanic rituals and bringing stuff with them, the thing inside the house, or else it was there all along and just mixed in. One of them is not a big deal. Two are kind of are, you know.
Yeah.
And whichever way it's scared, that's scary.
Yeah. How you doing, 94 Faces? How you doing? He just said that seems very much like voodoo to him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like an old school voodoo stuff, like a ceremony of some sort.
And then he said, wish they would have dug some more. It seems like everyone in the community knows something about it. It's possible. I mean, why wouldn't, especially like now, I mean, they're getting phone calls now because it's out in the property. So it's, who knows? Who knows? But whatever negative energy was there, I believe is still connected to those stairs and that dirt. And that's the weird thing, especially when he's been warned, I'm going to find you, and then you're going to take that stuff. That's, I don't know. That just doesn't sound right to me. I mean, the man is clearly not thinking right.
No, I'd agree.
Now, Jax, who was that gal that was the one that was talking to the demon? Her and her husband that Zach said was a good friend of his. I forgot what her name was. She had a weird name. The one with the red hair that was in the past investigations with him.
What, Debbie and Mark? It was Debbie had dark hair though.
No. It was the girl that he said she wanted to talk to the demon or something through remote speaking or whatever. I don't think it was Debbie, was it?
Sean saying Debbie and Mark.
Okay, I don't know.
Debbie and
'Cause I
Mark
just- I want-
Constantine. They were the two of the ones that were doing the EVP sessions for Zach for a long time, and he flipped out. He flipped out and killed her and killed a roommate
Himself,
and then killed himself.
Do you find that kind of weird?
Well,
You
Sean's
think
saying that she warned Zach.
Seems
I mean,
Zach
so whatever.
takes warnings very well.
It probably possessed the guy and it had him kill her and then those people himself too, included that other person himself.
It's possible.
So it's like it's just out on the run. Get blood from anybody, it seems like.
Yeah, Mark and Debbie Constantine.
Yeah.
They were pretty much the it when it came to EVP's electronic voice phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, can I just clarify something here?
Sure, go ahead.
Debbie and Mark, he killed her and killed himself?
Yes.
Oh.
They were separated. She had separated from him, and she had a roommate. And there was speculation that she was trying to leave Mark and she was with this person and blah blah blah. I guess Mark got wind of it, killed the roommate, killed her, and then during a police standoff, he ended up shooting himself.
There you have it. There's more. Like, it seems anybody that's associated with this property is basically fair game.
You know, it didn't seem, what transpired did not seem to be in his character, because he seemed like a really nice guy. It really did. And when I first heard about it, it was like it went through the paranormal field like wildfire. Not just the paranormal field, but just overall in general. It just went poof. And it was running rampant. I mean, nobody could believe it. You know, but it's that could have been. I mean, if they had been there at that house, I mean, how long ago? When did they die? I mean, most of that filming was taking place back in 2014. So,
Didn't Zak Bagans have cameras in the house for a year and a half or 2 years or something before he ever went near it?
I don't know, because he said it took them
3 years to make it.
3 years to make it. And the thing is that I don't know. I mean, Mark and Debbie could have been already dead. I can't believe I'm saying that like that. I'm not trying to make it sound cold, but I think they were dead before
the film came out. Like,
before he got the house. That's what I'm trying to look up now.
Wait, well, how would that happen if he had Debbie try to look at the demon or whatever? Because
I think we're thinking about two different sets of people here.
"94 faces."
Jason, did you find out what year the house was built?
No, I could not find anything on it.
No, I was having issues as well.
Yeah, it just has, it's mostly about Zak Bagans. I typed in the Demon House, Gary, Indiana, year of construction. I didn't get anything out of that one. Believe it or not, Where did I just see that? Give me 1 second, then I'll check it out.
Okay, let's. Okay, Mark and Debbie Constantino died on the 22nd of September 2015. So it was right around the same time period.
Oh, shit.
So they could have visited the house after Zach bought it. That's my whole point. So could that have had something to do with the murder/suicide? Possible.
Very possible, considering what went on there and what transpired to anybody that basically was in the house. You have people losing their mind. You have people going blind. Crazy stuff going on inside the house. And it's kind of Demon House kind of has everything in it. It's kind of it's one of those cases where it doesn't have just doesn't focus on one aspect of it. It kind of focuses on just the events, tells them as it is, and doesn't kind of does a thorough and good job of it. So, as I said, like I come to you, Jax, for anything paranormal, and I would ask you your opinion. When you said, like, have you seen the Demon House? I said I gotta check it out. I was kind of saying, like, every UFO program that's ever made for TV, every paranormal, every Bigfoot program should be made exactly like this. Just get in there, show the evidence, give the backstory. No hamming it up for Hollywood or dramatic effect or any of that stuff. Just give out good information, good reliable information at that, and let the people make up their own mind. Because after all, people, as we were discussing earlier on and yesterday, people need to have that part themselves. They need to be able to make up their own mind, because too many of them are just willing to take somebody's word for it, don't do their research. Whereas if you just present the evidence, they can make up their own mind, no problem. Like,
yeah,
I don't think like an individual is not stupid, but people in general are stupid. Like a group of people sitting in a room watching things will bounce ideas off each other, and suddenly you have like mass hysteria kind of thing. Like they watch a ghost program and believe like whatever, or watch a UFO program and think the world is about to be invaded kind of thing. So it's kind of crazy. Whereas I'd rather see every actual factual documentary done the same way this one was, because it was done properly, in my opinion. Done very well.
Yeah. Just looked up on the Inquisitor.com. Zak Bagans bought the house in February 2014. So it was almost like a year and 9 months. A year and 8 months when Debbie and Mark died. So it's very possible that they were at that house.
Yeah.
Especially when they work so close together on quite a few cases. But so what, any other thoughts, gentlemen?
Could it have been faked?
Could what have been faked?
The whole thing.
It could have been.
It's a bit extreme.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, it can. I mean, spirits tend to. I mean, okay, spirits draw energy. Okay, and when they're drawing energy, cameras can either go dead, battery drainage, or they can go out of focus, especially if they're going to be like caught on tape, just right before you catch them on video. The camera can tend to go out of focus. Now, whether if that's actually what happened, I'm not saying that. I think it was more of when Zach put the camera down and he heard that growl thing or whatever the heck it was, that when he moved, that blanket got right just enough into the frame of the camera that it made it go out of focus.
Yeah. The autofocus is focusing on the field, the thing in front of it, instead of the whole room behind. It's focusing on the nearest thing.
But when I say could it be faked, I'm talking about not just that part. I'm talking about, do you think they would have faked the whole thing? Could the show have completely be bull, or do you think it's more likely to be genuine? I mean, I think myself it was a really good show. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it also, but like I said at the beginning of the show, it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Anything can be faked. We all know that. You see it with UFOs. You see it with pictures of ghosts. You see it with, different things, even pareidolia. You see it all the time.
You see it in everyday life, pictures of models in magazines, photoshopped and edited and airbrushed. So
it started way back in 1969.
Was that a wig,
Moon
Cyrus?
Landing.
No, it's my hair.
Oh. But yeah, anything can be faked. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever saw this, but I did take a picture one time of the moon. It was a full moon, and I used my phone camera, and I took a picture of the full moon. Going back and looking at it, the clouds, it was pareidolia, and I'll tell you why. Because next to the moon, you see two skulls. I kid you not.
I know. I've seen a few.
And it's like, you know what that is? I'll tell you exactly what that is. It's the clouds that are bending the light coming through from the moon that makes it appear, and the clouds were just in the right formation or whatever to make it look like there was two skulls next to the moon.
It's probably like how you see like the big craters on the moon, how the light comes through the clouds.
Yes.
It made it look like a skull. Yeah.
And actually, now that I think of it, it's on my channel. That picture is on my channel, and I talk about it. If anyone is interested, go back and look at the video that I talk about. I forget. I think it was like the fourth or fifth video that I did. Might have been around the fifth video. Something like that. Damn, somebody say something while I look this up, please.
Right. Then
something.
Sorry, go ahead, Cyrus.
I need to get to bed, guys. I gotta go to the office in the morning, so I'm gonna take off. But
good night, you lightweight.
Nice chat, guys. All
right. Hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah, later, everybody.
See you later.
Later, Cyrus.
Yeah, Vern said before in chat, did anybody die in the house prior to Zach owning it?
No, nobody died in the house. What happened is that the family that had lived there before, when the girl, when the daughter got possessed, her brother used to live in the basement, in the back room in the basement. And they think that's where all this negativity is coming from, is that back bedroom. When he left, for whatever, when the brother left, he got shot and died.
Yeah.
He was out when that happened. He wasn't at home.
Yeah. Jack, sorry, is the name of it Face in a Nebula, or is it Pareidolia? Is that the name of the video? 10 minutes, 17 seconds long. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. What's
Yeah.
it called? Say it again.
Face in a Nebula, or is it Pareidolia?
Yeah, that's it exactly.
You're right. It is your 5th video. Yeah. 5 months, 48 views.
Jack's UFO bro says, hey guys, this story sounds too good to be true. I'm sitting on the fence with this. What a pussy. Get off the fence, UFO bro.
Yeah.
It just seems awful strange if it's all, hoax, why they would rip the house down. You would have the police reports.
Yeah.
It goes a little bit too far, I think.
Now I'm saying that we're taking it at face value as well, so you got it. Kind of you could do some background research on it, like the Guardian Indiana, the trooper, the sheriff guy. You could go research his name. I'm sure that's in the records. The same with the child welfare officers and just child psychologists as well. You could go research their names, I'm sure. So there's stuff that you can verify at least. Are they using real people's names? Yes. Could they be using the real people's names and have different faces on it? Yes, of course they could. But I'm sure a program that's going to get this sort of exposure would be out fairly quick.
Yeah, the officer's name was Officer Austin. Austin was his last name. I'm not sure what his first name was though.
Was it Smith?
No, Austin was his last name.
Black guy.
I don't know what his first name was though. And he was the chief of police in Gary. So, but you remember he slipped on ice or something on his head, and he said he was passed out on the ground for like an hour.
Yes.
And he got shot twice. I think twice. A few weeks after or something.
Yes, he was on a call and he ended up getting shot. He almost died.
Yeah, he almost died from that.
Well, that would be in the Guardian Indiana newspapers. You could go back through archives and have a look at those.
Yeah.
So at least you could verify it's the same guy in the Zak Bagans thing. But I think me personally, I think I'm taking it at face value. But I think a show of this size and knowing that they're going to have so much publicity on it and have had so much publicity, people would be already coming out of the woodwork to say, hold on, that's not the same Sheriff Austin that's from Gary, Indiana. Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, I'll look him up right now.
Is this the information on Forerunner? Is this the information on the house? Or is this something else?
That's true, bro.
Yeah, that's the information on the house. That's directly from Zillow. And I was gonna send you a link from. I think I did. I sent you truly one too. I sent you multiple links.
Okay.
That's the address of the house. It shows pictures of the house from before. I think before it was destroyed.
Well, there is. Well, in Zillow, there's no house. There's no pictures of the house.
Oh, okay. Well, I looked it up on Google Maps and it showed of the house.
Well, this here is it's a single-family house. It was 864 square feet and was built in 1926. Contains
That was close.
It contains 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The estimate for this house. The estimate for this house is $59,638, which was decreased by $428 in the last 30 days. Well, of course it did in the last 30 days because there's no house there anymore.
There's now a piece of patch of ground, yeah.
Empty foundation.
No, that's the $480 is for anybody that wants to live there can buy a tent.
Yeah.
Or an RV.
They can camp out there and get their freak on.
It says that the rent estimate for the home is $750 a month. That's cheap. Property tax in 2017 was $689. The tax assessment in 2017 was $31,600, a decrease of 3.1% over the previous year. So it's
And when was it demolished, Jax? Do you know when it was demolished? No.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Do you know when it was
demolished?
When it was taken down?
When was it demolished?
Yeah.
It was demolished. I don't even know what year it was demolished. I know it wasn't this year, and most likely it wasn't. I think it was late last year, somewhere around like September, October, somewhere around in there. Might have been closer to November. I'm not exactly sure, but it's somewhere in that point of time.
Okay. No worries, guys. I'm gonna jump off. I'm starting to feel my eyes closing. It's 4:15 a.m. Yeah, I'm gonna jump out here. Guys, have a good night. Have a good time. Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'll see you later, Jason.
Later.
Thank you for coming.
See you, Jake.
No worries, bro. Anytime. Take it easy.
Good night.
Catch you later, Josh.
Yeah, but it's I mean, when he was on that podcast with Chris Jericho, at that point in time, he was only 2 weeks removed from being on the location at that house. So if I can go back and look when that is, then I can tell everybody when that was. And it wasn't last year. I mean, that wasn't this year. I know for a fact it wasn't this year. So it had to have been around like September, October. That looks like it.
Yep. I just sent you that. It shows a picture of the house at the bottom left, and then it shows the empty lot right there.
Yep. There's no house there.
So all you skeptics, it's all gone now. They filled it in with the earth.
Yep. I mean, what's really strange is that after you look at that picture and there's nothing but grass there.
Yeah.
How does grass grow that quick? That doesn't
That's
even.
that good old Scott's lawn builder.
Burn.
It's that new shit you can spray on bricks and it can grow.
Damn it.
You there, Burn?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
What's up, Burn?
Can't hear you. So, did you see the film? Burn.
Okay.
Burn.
Yes.
Did you see the film?
I did not get a chance to, unfortunately. I had issues, unfortunately, here.
Okay.
So, yeah. I planned on watching it earlier, and just things came up, just to say that involve a lot of money, and which I'm very short of right now. So it creates a huge amount of stress, and it just ruined my whole day. So,
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, overall, it was very interesting. The way that it was put together. Like I'm leaning towards, and a lot of the guests tonight have said the same thing. Cubit has said it. If it's real, and that one little section when he was sitting in the bedroom on the bed, if that camera would have been stayed in focus, that would have been the most compelling evidence to date. I tend to agree with that. Would I have done the same thing that Zach did? Absolutely not.
Screw that.
Absolutely not. I would not go into that house being boarded up. I mean, you can't get out. You did have a phone if you had a problem. See, I didn't know that he threw the camera. I thought he threw the phone. Because that camera is still sitting there after he picked up whatever it was that he threw with the light still on that camera. But I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it yet again. That'll be like my 15th time since it was released. I always seem
Yeah,
to
I just
pick up.
looked up that thing about the his name was Police Captain Charles Austin.
There you go.
That's what his name.
Captain Charles Austin. Yep.
And I think it said he was retired or he is retiring.
Yeah, he was retired during the filming of that too.
Yeah.
Like especially towards the end of it when he says to Zach, he's like, if you have any problems, you let me know, and you make sure that you tell me so I can call the cops, call the fire department, and get you, have them bust down the door to get you out. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that. I'm not saying that, he got what he deserved. Absolutely not. He didn't get, he got what he deserved. I just think that, I mean, especially when he claims that he's one of the world's top paranormal investigators and demonologists. You've heard him say that. He said it at the beginning of that film.
Well, doesn't the crazy bastard own Dr. Kevorkian's Deathmobile where he committed the suicides in?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, that shows you right there.
I mean, what this guy,
he got a lot of darkness attached to him. It seems like
it's almost like he's. It's almost that, and I'm not saying this to be critical towards the man because I don't know him, but what the hell is he thinking? Is he that nuts?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you buy Dr. Kevorkian's van that he was killing people in?
What else does he own? That he owns quite a few dark possessions.
I saw a video that had the real Annabelle in the same video, and he convinced the owner of Annabelle to take it out of the box. It's clear case, glass case, to take it out, and they sat it down on a chair under the condition that Zak would not touch it. He touched that doll because he felt like he was compelled to touch it, like it forced him to touch it. I mean, all seriousness,
touch it.
Does he have a death wish? I mean, seriously. I mean, why would you? Why? I don't know. If someone knows, please explain it to me because I have no idea. And because there's nothing but dead silence, no one knows. See, that's my whole point.
I'd like to see him pick it up, maybe throw it at a wall, see what happens. I'd pay to watch him do that.
Some bitch come walking back at you.
And just so everybody knows that the real Annabelle doll is not what it looks like in the movies. It's actually a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yep.
Not very scary, huh?
No.
One would think. I'm not going near it, I'll tell you that.
Once it starts bleeding from its eyes, then I'm going to turn around and run.
You know, there's certain things that I'll do and there's certain things that I won't do. You know, and okay. Yes, I'm a paranormal investigator. Yes, I do have my own team. Yes, I do have a partner. Yes, we are starting to read and study demonology. Does that mean that we're going to start looking for demons? No, it doesn't. It means that just in case we come across a case that has this stuff going on, that we may be able to deal with it. If it's something too strong and we are not strong enough to deal with it, we're going to look into getting other people that would be strong enough to get rid of it. Now, once you get rid of it, does that mean that it's gone forever? No, it doesn't. It can come back. It can come back. It could be nice and quiet for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, bang, it's back with a vengeance, sometimes even worse than what it was before. Some people, even priests, when they go and bless houses and everything, when they do exorcisms, okay, sometimes it's not just a one-time shot hit out of the park. Sometimes you got to do it 3 or 4 times. Sometimes it's twice. Sometimes you get lucky and it is the one time. You know, but I just want to make it perfectly clear that that when it comes to that stuff, I mean, I don't play with this stuff. You know, I try very hard. You know, it's the Ouija board. Not allowed in my house. I've said this before. I'm not afraid to say it because I don't like the things that come out of that board that I know that I've seen other people experience with, and I'm not playing with that stuff.
Yeah, like this. You're talking to me the other day privately. We were talking about the Zozo that apparently possesses it, which is a really supposed an ancient, like, demon-like being.
Yeah, and from what I've been seeing from the research that I've been doing, it's always the same demon, and the demon's name is Zozo, Z-O-Z-O.
Hmm.
And I'm not messing with that. I have a little girl. She's 13 years old, and I'm not bringing anything home. Screw that.
Face in chat says, I feel like aliens and hauntings are very closely related.
Correct. Correct. Could it
How
be?
so?
Well, you got to figure. I mean, there are some aliens. I mean, again, we've never all seen an alien. We can't say for sure that they exist. But deep down inside, you know that they exist. They have to exist because with the billions of planets that are out there and the trillions of galaxies that are out there, and we're the only ones, that's not possible. That's not possible. And then on top of that, so if that's the case, and we all believe that there's other life out there somewhere. I'll hit you up with another question. Do you think that some of the aliens could be nothing but pure energy?
Possible.
I believe so. I believe they could be.
Okay, that being said,
More than likely, maybe are.
When we die, or should I say, when we graduate and we leave this vessel, because that's all that this is, the flesh and bone and all this stuff. That's what this is. This is our vessel. What are we? What's the other thing that's not the spirit? I mean, it is the spirit, but what it's energy.
Conscience.
It's energy, correct?
Conscience, energy, yeah.
Yep.
So could that be the same
energy.
type of energy?
Yep.
I don't know. But I'm sure in hell's going to try to prove it. One way or another, I'm going to try my best to get the answers that need to be answered. To that and several other questions that I have. Different theories of mine, like, say, for instance, like, you know, it's like ghosts. Do they come from another dimension? Is there really, like, even though we're all led to believe that we're all led to believe that we all go to heaven, or some go to heaven, some go to hell, or how Jesus Christ is going to come back to earth and he's going to take all his followers up to heaven, and could, okay, others believe that heaven, I mean, is right here on earth. Could it be that when people die, they're off into another dimension and they can cross over whenever they feel like it into this realm?
Yeah, so see, when we start talking about different dimensions and stuff like that, it goes a little bit over my head, I've got to admit.
Well, it's all just theory. That's all it is. I'm not saying it's anything else.
I believe there is a way to actually tune into them frequencies to bring in these other dimensions. Whether if you can do it in your head, some people I believe can do it right in their mind, and some maybe a governmental project or something like that can they intermingle these waves. It's like tuning in a radio station, and then you get two of them at the same time, and they interfere with each other. So you got that. That's how I heard it explained before.
I mean, just like
who's explaining it? I mean, are they right or whatever? It's all theories. Till we die, we're not going to know.
Well, it kind of makes sense if there's other dimensions. They should be on a dimensional plane or a wavelength. What everything is, light, sound, water, everything, it's all a wave.
Yeah, frequency of some
energy, sort. Even, what if that wave, gets tuned into the other wave as the other one's getting tuned into it, you got that little bit of touch, and then two dimensions come intact with each other.
Yes.
So then two dimensions are boop, and then you see something.
And that's what I was trying to say on the show last night with the temporal anomalies. If two time periods, say from 1900 and 2018, they overlap. The person that in 1900s, of course, they're long dead and buried 118 years ago. What if they're alive and living well? They're alive and well and doing really good back in the 1900s, and you got this other person over in 2018 doing well, living their life, and they both cross. What if the person in the 1800s, the 1900, can see what appears to be a ghost, but that ghost is from 2018? Does anyone see what I'm saying? And vice versa.
Yeah.
We can see them as a ghost, and they can see us as a ghost.
I've thought the same thing. I've actually thought the same thing.
That in my ideals would be something along the lines of like a parallel projection of sorts,
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, because Grant Wilson from Ghost Hunters has experienced that.
Wow.
And it happens more than people think. But like I said last night, what type of alignment, does it, from whatever reason, what type of alignment would have to be possible for that to happen? Is it something outside of this planet, outside of our atmosphere? Do the planets have to be aligned? What is the common denominator that would have to make these two time periods overlap each other?
Yeah, it's far from being figured out.
And it's not even just saying even another dimension. It's actually two different time periods. So we're dealing with time.
Right.
And I think that that's a very highly possible thing.
Well, then time is not a thing. It isn't like used up as it's made. You know, that means that there's a record being kept, and then if there's a record being kept, how many records are being kept, and those records, are there really? Is that a reality that could be considered another fundamental part of you? You know what I mean? That you don't even experience in this conscious, but it's another conscious. And then life being eternal might be actually true, because it might be that you go through all those other life periods too. As
Meaning you go through each dimension?
Every now and again, maybe you have what they call deja vu. I've had deja vu, and I know it's real, and I can't explain it. And I had already lived through what was happening, and I had a witness to it. And the person who was a witness to it could hardly even handle it, because for some reason she was experiencing things in a weird way that was almost like she had to deal with it by going into like hilarity. Like she could only laugh like hysterically as it was happening, because to her that was the only way that she could comprehend it. And she was a very intelligent person, actually.
Yeah.
There's one way I think it might happen is like, okay, we die in this lifetime, we head into the fourth dimension. So in the fourth dimension, we die in that dimension, we head to the fifth dimension. So we have to live through each dimension and actually, to actually be energy. We're going to live forever, basically.
Right.
Our energy is going to
there's a
carry
dimensional
on.
model that is like that. Maybe the dimensional model also mimics how the dimensional wavelength is here.
I'd
where
like to believe that.
There's, you know what I mean? Like it maybe like everything mimics itself or whatever in grandeur. You know what I mean? Like the solar system maybe is modeled after molecular structures and things like that. Like how they are, because a lot of the understanding that we get in physics and stuff is that when you look at molecular models and stuff, they're like round spheres and another sphere or something like that,
and they
somehow they make
rotate
matter
around
and
each
everything
other.
else. It all seems like a figment of somebody's imagination. It seems pretty far-fetched, you know what I mean, when you think about it, but that's all we have to go on.
We're just
a wood grows into a limb, and then it can be made into furniture like this and then look like this. Whereas like a piece of metal, and these are all made of the same molecules fundamentally, and why one thing forms one thing and one thing forms part of the secret of the whole illusion, I guess. But it is an illusion to some degree.
Yeah, like looking at the protons and neutrons, how they circle each other. It kind of looks like a little orbit.
Mini solar system, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do we know they actually orbit that way, and how do we know that it isn't that they create a vibration, and that vibration
they're too
wave
little to
that
see.
makes
We can't see
form
it.
something different, But it's hard to imagine that a wavelength can make this whole thing possible. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Light is a wavelength, but also so is matter.
We still can't even measure atoms, really.
Yeah, because they're too small to see even.
Yeah.
We can look at them like on a radio sphere, like I said, as a wavelength, but that's it. It just looks like a little squiggly line that goes woo, 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 but it makes everything, It's a surfer riding a wave, okay? It's all about surfing. You're surfing the internet.
Yeah, it's
You're a surfer of life.
It's just a
portal.
Completely fascinating subject to me.
If you ever, excuse me, Jax, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's just saying that it's just a real fascinating thing to me. That's most part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I generally care for people, and I like to help people, and this is a real problem.
I think that's the key to the whole connection between the UFO phenomenon and the other phenomenons. Is this what we're talking about right now? It's a subject of its own, and yet it's so important as to being applicable to what you do, Jax, and what I'm after, and what many people are after, I think. And,
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between us actually going up and, on the tier of existence. That's the next step we have to conquer, and we have to do it freely. We can't put a price on this. This is something that has to be made free.
I don't know. What I was going to say is, if you ever heard of a guy, he lived in Canada. His name was John Hutchinson. He was a
the Hutchinson
scientist.
effect.
Yeah, he actually messed with frequencies, waves, different polarities, and stuff like that through energy. He got stuff to disappear, float, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's almost like a poltergeist effect, they said. That's what they called it, the poltergeist machine.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people that lived under him and above him, like in the apartment where he had all his equipment, they would experience stuff in their places. So he got raided by the government, and they took all his machinery. I was in contact with him before. He lives now in Vancouver, Canada, and he's making, well, last I talked to him, he was doing a ray gun to battle the radiation from Fukushima. He was building some kind of a Tesla gun that was going to bombard the ions and the cesium and stuff in the air to make it non-pollutive.
Yeah,
because that Fukushima is still isn't it still getting worse?
Oh, it's so hot they can't even put a machine in there to even analyze it for longer than an hour. It destroys the machine. Any machine that they've built,
Yeah.
He's a weird son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah,
he dresses up like
he did on his YouTube channel, and I'm like, this man is crazy. Clinically,
I talked to him before he started putting out the Carla videos.
Those Carla videos are out there.
I didn't think he was like that until I stopped talking to him. I was like, what? No go.
All right, Carla. Bye.
Damn, that's scary.
But,
hey, man, whatever floats your boat, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's funny.
But yeah, it's been an interesting show. I really enjoyed this tonight. Well, I enjoy all my shows every night whenever I do them, but I particularly enjoyed this one.
Better and better every time.
Yes.
Nice. As it should. Progress was good.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus, it helps to have you guys on here.
That progress makes perfect, huh?
Yeah. But I want to thank everyone that came in on the chat tonight.
Definitely.
It doesn't go up. Okay. Thank you, Manny, for showing up, brother. Appreciate it. Mike, he was here briefly, but he had to take off. He had to take care of something.
UFO, bro.
Yep. Gyro. He's here. Sean, thanks, brother, for coming on. Appreciate it. Just going through the chats real quick. If I forget anyone, I apologize. I'm going to try. Like last night, I forgot a person. And 94 Faces, thanks you for coming by, brother. Appreciate it.
94 Face had some good comments along the way. I tried to get some of them off, but yeah, people were in conversation.
Yes. Anytime that 94 Faces, if you want to join, just let me know and you can come on. You don't have to show your face or anything, just your voice. If you want to share a story or you want to talk about a certain subject, whatever.
Well, can I just say one more comment that 94 Face actually posted ages ago, and I thought this was fake when that woman, fucking hell, I apologize for swearing. I need my glasses. I thought it was fake when that woman that used to live there just turned up with their 3 kids. That was one of the comments earlier on.
But didn't he reach out to all the people?
I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did too. But I don't know if he actually did get in touch with them and that's why they showed up. But it made it sound like they just showed up out of the blue because they knew that he was there. Could that have been just mere coincidence? Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely odd, though.
Yeah, UFO bro, thanks for coming by, buddy. Appreciate it. I think
Renee.
Rennie.
Yeah, Rennie Cruz. That's it.
Yeah. No, UFO bro, I did not win Mega Millions. I wish I did. I wish I did. Why, you looking for your $10 to $20 million? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we were all looking for our check in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, believe me, when you'll be the first person I go see. How's that? But yeah, I want to thank everyone who came on the show tonight. I want to thank Forerunner, thank Vern,
pleasure.
Thank Gyro.
Pleasure's mine.
My own mate.
Was on here briefly, and
Mr. Jason.
Oh yeah, we had that Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason
on, didn't we?
That Irish son of a.
Heck with Jason.
Heck with Jason.
and Cyrus.
It's Cyrus.
Yes, Cyrus.
Thank you. I almost forgot Cyrus.
Wasn't Mike on too?
Yeah, I said Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I said he was.
Oh, okay. Mike. Yeah. Mike was first.
Yeah, it's I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I'm just doing my research and the evidence that I catch. I'm hoping to prove some stuff, some theories. You heard a few of them tonight. What I would want to accomplish. So yeah, it's we all think it's a fascinating subject, and as long as there's people that have interest in the subject, you know, we're going to be still doing this. But yeah, but you can find me on Twitter at I'm the Real Jax. You can find my team, East Coast Coalition of Paranormal Investigators, right here on YouTube.com. You can find us on the World Wide Web, www.eccpi-paranormal.com. You can also find us on Facebook at ECCPI. So for all of us here on Paranormal Underworld, my name is Jax. Till next time, stay spooky, everybody.